The economic impact is the full $3.8 million. Instead of even a portion of that going outside this community, it's all staying right here.
A moment decades in the making. The next Mackinac Island ferry will be more than a boat. The MISS MARGY brings together two northern Michigan family businesses on a mission. Shepler's Mackinac Island Ferry.
I felt that the ferry ride to and from the island is part of that experience.
And Moran Iron Works.
Part of it is having your head aligned with your heart. And that happens here. I like doing things. I like being creative. I like solving problems and being of value for my clients.
A partnership that means when these piles of raw aluminum become the MISS MARGY cruising around the Straits of Mackinac, it will be the culmination of hard work and a vision born in northern Michigan.
My dad had a license, full captain's license, which means he could take any ship on the Great Lakes and connecting tributaries and the length or any tonnage and be the captain. It was quite a license, and he didn't get it by going to school. He got it on the job training, which was tough.
Bill Shepler's father worked on the water, captain of private yachts and coal-carrying freighters. When World War II ended, he saw the pent-up demand to visit Mackinac Island and started running a speedboat service from Mackinaw City.
A couple years later, Herb Feiffelman on the island had a 30-foot hacker. He sold out, and my dad bought the boat. So I got my license. So Dad and I are driving charter boats at night.
By 1950, the father and son team upgraded to cabin cruisers. The first christened the MISS MARGY after Captain Shepler's wife, Margaret. The Shepler family business was thriving, on its way to the service you see today.
And then from there, we had to make a jump. Things were starting to happen for our company, and we made a jump with the motor vessel Welcome, built in '69, Felicity, '72, the Hope, '76, '78, the Wyandotte, which is what we're standing on now, and then the Captain Shepler in the early '80s. So fleet of 5, and then we have one freight boat.
But these days, the fleet struggles to keep up with demand.
We have difficulties with the 9, 10, 11, and 12 departures. So we need to put every boat that we have into service, and we do. Our lighthouse cruise venue has grown, so now we have to use a boat for that. So it gets to the point now is that you got to start nickel and diamond people to be able to do everything, and it's not fair to the customer.
There were a lot of tough discussions about, are we going to go ahead and put ourselves out there at $3.8 million when maybe we should wait one more year. And it came to the point where we need to do this and we need to do it now.
And when they had to decide where to begin the next era for their company, Shepler's knew where to turn.
We say it was founded in 1978. That's the year I graduated, but I worked part-time out of a garage and worked for my father in the lumbering business.
Moran Iron Works in Onaway is the result of Tom Moran's passion for working with his hands, discovering welding at a young age.
I convinced my high school shop teacher, who was a fantastic woodworker, a craftsman, asked him if I could use the metalworking equipment, and he let me, as long as you do something I could grade you on. So I started off welding desks and chairs from study hall in high school.
A welding business that graduated from a rented building to an ironworks in a massive complex built on a dairy pasture. Inside, a crew of 130 workers. Moran's earned a certain reputation.
When you tackle something like that for millions of dollars, almost $4 million, that's a big gamble when you start from scratch and you want a ferry that you can twist the key and head to Mackinac Island for decades, you know, not just a couple of years. So for us, it's a huge compliment.
Tom Moran is getting to work at 4:30 a.m. as usual, getting another day started and putting his reputation to the test, building a new 300-passenger, 86-foot boat for Shepler's. Every day checking for cleanliness and safety issues before his crews arrive, Moran is preparing for not one, but 3 daily morning meetings focusing on teamwork and safety.
This place can kill you 1,000 ways, and a lot of them don't even know it. Safety is one of those things that you know, these people, they're producers, they're more concerned about you know, getting the weld done, getting the project out the door. You really have to do that on a daily basis. I've found that monthly safety meetings, people forget what the word even means.
Next door is the big job, building Shepler's new ferry. You realize how big of an undertaking it is when you see the pile of raw aluminum brought in January. This jigsaw puzzle will become the MISS MARGY, with features never seen on a Mackinac Island ferry.
And this Shepler's vessel is a very unique one. You know, not only 3-engine design, but climate control.
Not just any welder can do this job. It turns out aluminum is very different than steel.
Well, it takes a special craftsman or a special touch.
Every team's a little different, and this team has been specially chosen for this project because of their abilities and talents.
Starting from the center, the team follows the drawings for the skeleton of the boat.
One piece alone is very flimsy and almost like a noodle-like, but as components gain on each other, that's where its strength comes from, is from its design.
Several weeks in, and the progress is amazing. Constant additions to the keel and bulkhead. The MISS MARGY's growing exponentially.
You'll see a skeleton, you'll see ribs, and then those ribs tied together, and then that tied together, so you end up with a skeleton. And then you'll start to see the hull laid against it, and at the same time we're building the fuel tanks, the sewage tank.
Actually, this may not look like it's close to being done, but the man hours and the effort that went into the beginning and then the hull, the rest of the stuff's going to be pretty easy.
This time-lapse video makes it look easy. But remember, the crew at Moran Iron Works is taking raw aluminum and welding a one-of-a-kind watercraft.
A tremendous amount of skeletal work or structural work, and the guys did a fantastic job of it. Just like any project, the most important time is crunch time.
Here's the MISS MARGY getting her engines. Each of these weighs 9,000 pounds. The transmissions, another 3,000 pounds each. Everything has to line up just right. Precision that takes weeks of work.
We first set the engines about a month and a half ago, and just here in the last couple of days have got everything all true and nice and straight and in line and ready to run. So it's a big process.
As crews at Moran Iron Works complete their work, Shepler's crews are working to give this ferry its finishing touches.
Well, there's a lot more than just engines. There's a generator set, which is a very independent power group. Ducting, heating, air conditioning, electrical, that's very complex.
It seems like just yesterday the MISS MARGY had nothing more than a plan and piles of aluminum.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, especially on the Great Lakes. Snow's flying the whole time that, sparks are flying, so it's a pretty cool thing to watch, especially, when we're in the shop, and to see it launch in the summertime will be really, really cool.
I remember as a little kid bringing up our most recent boat, which was built in 1986, up through the Mississippi River with my grandfather and my father, and remembering the times when we came under the bridge and the rest of our fleet came along and met up with us, and how proud my grandpa was, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with my father.
And everyone focused on July 12th. MISS MARGY must be done on that day for her christening. Even Governor Snyder slated to attend.
It's going to be a proud week. Built in Michigan, for Michigan, by Michigan, and I can go in my backyard and go for a ride. Take the family to see it, and it's going to be a proud week.
Hey, you guys all good?
I'm good over here, ready to go. Yep, I'm all good too.
This is one of the near final steps here to MISS MARGY's journey.
Late May sunshine hitting the hull for the first time. It's delivery day for MISS MARGY, leaving the Moran Iron Works building where she was born.
It's a culmination of some dreams, some ambitions, and some needs that we have to satisfy.
When it rolled out of the building there, I almost started crying, for crying all out. It was that exciting for me.
You can't haul an 85-foot, 70-ton boat like just any cabin cruiser. This thing requires a well-planned route, the right equipment, and the right people.
The way Moran Iron Works works, they look at things like that, and it's quite an easy task for them. Looking at it from my perspective, it's like trying to move Mount Everest.
It's extreme size, but the truth is it went very smooth.
It was flawless as far as the way the guys loaded it.
But a move this big is going to have its speed bumps.
Okay.
Maybe it was the adrenaline. A little speed may have blown a tire. What would be a big setback for most people was a 1-hour delay for the Moran crew. Miss Margie was on the road again. Port Calcite, Rogers City. The boat that everyone is anxious to see in the water has to hang out a little longer. Everything has to be just right. And for luck, the makeshift christening, not champagne, but Miller Lite.
Ready? That's fantastic. My mom should be pointing her finger at us now, putting beer on her bow.
The moment of truth after years of planning and work.
I hope it floats.
A crane lowering Miss Margie into the Lake Huron water that will be her home. This boat is already living up to her name.
And of course, it's only fitting that we name this super carrier, and that's what she's going to be, a super carrier, after my mom. Because she was a super carrier all by herself. She was a real tiger. So it's a beautiful day. Let's start the engines and let's go to Mackinaw.
We're free, buddy.
Heading to her home port
You only get one shot at it.
after dark,
But right now, we're moving, and that's all that matters.
after a long day.
It doesn't matter that it's midnight, and it doesn't matter that we don't have any windows in the boat. It just feels so good to be where we are right now, heading home with our new boat. It's fantastic. I can't describe the feeling.
But the most exciting part for me was about, I'd say we were about 10 miles outside of Mackinaw City. It's 1:30 in the morning, and Billy had called me and told me that he had just got permission from the manufacturer of the engine, our rep, from W.W. Williams, that we could, give her the berries. And that means full throttle.
She's just solid. I wanted to do it right from Rogers City, but they wouldn't let me. So I had to be patient, and I'm not a patient man.
That was pretty cool to see that capability come true, because it's all on paper, but you never know if paper transfers over to real life. And we saw that translation very quickly, which made us all extremely happy.
With only a few minor glitches, this new Mackinac Island ferry hit the water cruising, fast and smooth, in the dark, pulling into Mackinaw City and joining the family.
I think that the moment as a family really hit when the boat got to the dock, and so we blew a salute. And I was on the welcome, blew one back, and that, brings a tear to your eye, really, and it did.
Wait till you see her from outside, man. She looks so good.
And then the big moment was when everyone came off the boat, and we were all there together, out just on the outside on the dock next to the Miss Margie.
Congratulations, Dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't do a damn thing. Congratulations, you guys.
And it was cool from the perspective that we know that our grandmother, whose the boat was named after, was looking down on us and got us back to Mackinaw City safely, and we're ready for the next chapter, which should happen here shortly.
We didn't do much today. We'll give her hell tomorrow.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
It's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling.
Absolutely.
It's a good feeling to have this boat here.
Yeah.